Hello, Enlo. I'm just trying to tell you guys about two different tech things that I've started using recently that maybe people don't know about that I think would really benefit you and make your lives a lot easier. One is Windows Hello instead of Duo Login. I was talking to a lot of people this year, and they were expressing annoyance over the fact that you have to have the Duo login on your phone, and if you can't have your phone, then you can't log in anymore. Maybe they changed something, maybe they didn't, but now you don't need your phone in order to log into Duo if you are using your school laptop or any other laptop, so long as you use a password manager. I'm not sure. Anyways, um, in order to do that, next time that you're logging in, instead of like clicking, send something to Duo, go other options down here. Yeah. And when you go other options, well, then you can add a device. And if you add a device, well, then one of those many options that you'll be able to use is Windows Hello. But in order to do that, you're going to have to verify your thing, right? So I'm going to send a push just like I would always, or like you probably will. Send a push, right? And now that I've just logged in, it's going to give me a bunch of different ways to add something. The one caveat I will say about this is you need to also have Windows Hello um, set up on your laptop, which just means that if you type in your search bar Windows Hello, right, as a sign in option, and then you do a fingerprint sign in. I'm not on my school laptop, so this isn't going to work at all. But you'll see like Windows Hello Fingerprint is an option, and you should log in, or at least if you aren't like super sketched out by the thought, set your fingerprint login to log into your computer. And in case you didn't realize, like to the right of the touchpad is a fingerprint login. Um, Mr. Miller, when I told him to set his fingerprint, tried touching the middle of the screen because he's an old man, and I'm only telling that story to embarrass him. Anyways, so if you set a fingerprint login on the computer and set that up, then you could just add a device, use Windows Hello, and then it will be all good. And then you'll be able to log in using your fingerprint instead of sending it to Duo every single time. And maybe it'll save you some time, maybe it won't. That's one thing. The second thing that I wanted to share with you guys, oopsies, did I ever log in? Oh, sorry, I use a password manager. But you see, I don't even have to use my computer. I just use my password manager to log in to Duo nowadays. All right. The second thing that I wanted to show real quickly is a Google integration that will ideally make it so that you don't have to worry about kids not sharing the assignments with you, because I know that that has been a constant source of frustration that I have felt over the course of this school year. And using this integration, I think it will stop being a concern. All right. And so I can show you an example of what this looks like before I talk about it real quickly. But you can see right here that this is an assignment that I used this integration on. It was propaganda analysis. And so using this integration, if you were a person that liked Google Classroom a lot, well then you would still be able to use Google Classroom's grader actually in order to grade the assignment. And so you can see right here that I've been grading some of my kids' assignments right here. Let's go to a random kid in my class who I haven't graded yet. Let's see what Ella did. Yeah. And this might look extremely familiar to you last year if you did any grading in Google, because there you go, there's Ella's assignment. It should be shared correctly whenever my internet catches up to me. There you go. It's shared correctly, and I would be able to grade it whenever it's time to grade. And then I go to the next person. And then if you make a rubric, then I can still use the rubric that is over here on the far right. And maybe it saves you some time or maybe you just like Google Classroom and you hate Canvas Speed Grader. I don't care. Anyways, in order to do this, um, either with using Google Classroom, or you can still use Canvas Speed Grader, and this just makes it so that the assignments will always be shared correctly when it's time to turn it in. I will say that this probably is only most effective if it's like an assignment that they're filling out something, whereas if it's an assignment where they're just like writing an essay, I don't know if it will work that well. And also, side note, if you wanted to use like Google's plagiarism checker, I didn't check it on this assignment. You could also use that, because I know I've heard a lot of people complain that Canvas doesn't have like a plagiarism checker. But if you did make a Google assignment, then it would work that way. Anyways, In order to do this, I'm going to make it in my other class though, because this is the second time I made this video, and the first time it was worse. All right, you add an assignment just like you always would. So here we go. I'm going to add an assignment. That assignment's going to be called fun assignment, right? And then we go into the assignment like we always would. Oh, and I'm going to have to make it viewable in order for this to work. But you don't have to make it viewable the moment you make it, but I'm just doing that so that I can show you all exactly how it works. So here we go, fun assignment. We edit it just like we always would, right? And then you can do your normal stuff. One thing that I think I want to put, especially with the first couple, is like I'm going to write in here, because you don't need any words here. You don't need to copy anything, because one more time it's going to force them and give them a copy that they can already access. Is I'll type in the words, click the gray box below in order to view the document, because that's what they see when they see the assignment pushed out to them. As many points as it worth? Is it a major or minor? But the real way that we make it, this submission type is you go external tool, blah, 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 you go find, and then you go to Google Assignments LTI 1.3. Right, now one more time, if you have an assignment that's like a formatted file, you're going to hit continue. So that it can make something in your Google Drive, then this is what you're going to want to do. And then we're just going to find that file in your Google Drive. If you just opened it up, well, it'll be easier to find. If you did not just open it up, it will be harder to find. But I don't know. Here we go. There we go. There's an assignment that I'm going to do soon. RR1, it's going to force copy. If I need the plagiarism checker, as long as I'm using a Google assignment, I'll be able to see the plagiarism checker. If I use Canvas Speed Grader, the plagiarism checker won't really work for me, unfortunately. So, if you've been concerned about kids like doing assignments and then just sharing them with each other, well, by doing Google assignments and checking that plagiarism, you'd be able to tell that, X kid has been sharing with X other kid. And then, if all your rubrics from last year would ideally probably be gone, but since I've made one rubric so far, it was in my CNC class. It was in my CNC class. There you go. Oh, there you go. And now I have the rubric. And then I create the assignment. And now everyone's going to get a copy of this. I hit select one more time, and it's there. Now it is a perfect assignment. It is going to be due, blah, 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 in the future. Who cares? And save. So what does this look like on the student view? Let's check it out. Student view. So if you were a kid, you would see click the gray box below in order to view the document, and we would click this gray box just like I said. It brings me over here. I'm gonna have to sign in under my personal account because since I'm in my teacher account, like it needs me to be in a different one in order to know that I'm not a teacher. So now I'm in my personal account pretending to be a student, and this is what it looks like for every single kid that logs in. Like a couple benefits of this one more time is one, if kids lose documents, they won't lose it because they're always going to access it through this. Two, the sharing settings will be correct. And three, you got to use Google Grader if you like it, right? Like now, Chris LeBlanc, this is his copy. And as long as, Chris LeBlanc always tries to access it through this one, way, or they access it through their Google Drive, well, it will be the Chris LeBlanc copy of this. That's it. I can run the originality report. Oh, I guess that's what the teacher would do. And yeah, and they could also add a file if they wanted to add a file. So there you go. I think it's beneficial. One final note, because I know I showed this to Foos, and Dumb Foos had a problem with it, is when it comes time to grading as a teacher, in order to grade these assignments, I'm going to delete this assignment. Well, okay. In order to grade these assignments, I'm going to load fun assignment. You can't use Canvas Speed Grader anymore. Like, look, if I try to click Canvas Speed Grader, it's going to be like nothing, right? Like it won't show me the assignment at all. So by saying, it might get very confusing if you're a person that like some of your assignments you use Canvas Speed Grader using this integration and some of them you don't. But if you do use Google Classroom for the assignments, here we go. Let me click this. I'm actually going to go to this propaganda analysis. In order for these grades to go into Canvas, you can't just, grade them, right? Like, so this kid, Aiden, does a good job. I don't know, Aiden gets whatever grade he is. If I click this, right, the 10 goes here or the 4 goes here, but that grade isn't going. That grade is only going to go into Canvas once I return it. So you would have to make sure you click return all of the submissions that exist, and then it will push into Canvas, right? Um, I don't know if it would overwrite if you put a number in already. I'm not certain about that, but I just know that if you want those grades, when you grade in this Google Classroom uh, tab, in order for them to go into Canvas, you would have to hit, the down arrow, and then it's actually a little slower than it was last year in order for it to go all the way. Okay, so that's the second tip. Hopefully either of those are useful for you and benefit you over the course of this next quarter so we have less annoyance.